My name is Rudy Jung. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Director of Programs at McHale. I'm joined by Cathy Stevens, our Executive Director, and Monica Casañas. We're very glad you could join us today. McHale is a community coalition of all the organizations that provide adult English classes in Montgomery County. And as the hub of the coalition, we bring adult English instructors and program staff together to learn and to share. We support adult English classes throughout the county through our grants program. So in our discussion today, which is entitled Building Community and Creating Home in the Classroom, we'll have the chance to hear from three perspectives. One, from learners of English, two, from those who teach ESOL or English for speakers of other languages, and three, from those who manage adult ESOL classes and programs. And so I'm really very pleased to introduce our guest speakers today. It's great that so many, especially so many learners, have chosen to be part of our discussion today. I'm going to, when I say your name, guest speakers, please just give a little wave so people know who you are. First, Junko Miyoshi. There. Esther Calix. Alfredo Del Prado. There.
Actually, Alberto.
Did I say Alfredo again? My apologies. I don't know what. Cathy Chen. Melanie Wang, who is not, I'm not sure she's at her desk right there, but, and Tandar Nang. Great to see you all today. And on the instructor side, we have Lillian Smith, who teaches with Identity. Hi, Lillian. Sylvia Granados Mariti, who teaches with Community Reach of Montgomery County, as well as Jennifer Kagan, who teaches with English Now and is the Director of Program Development. On our program manager side, we have Ioana Galani, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, who is with English Now, and who actually can provide both a learner and a program management perspective. And Laura Irwin, who is program supervisor at Catholic Charities. So welcome to all of you. Just a few words before we get started, some Zoom etiquette. We'd appreciate if all audience members could stay muted. And if you have questions, feel free to post them in the chat, either in Zoom or on Facebook, since we're streaming live right now. We'll try to get to your questions, though we have a very full program. If we don't address them, we'll try to follow up with you afterwards. So without further ado, let's start off on our program. First, a few words of introduction for our discussion. I wanted to thank Jennifer Kagan and Lillian Smith for their help in planning this event. And when Jennifer, Lily, and I were first discussing it in the context of Welcoming Week, the Welcoming Week theme, which is creating home together, we talked about the importance of language, not only in communication, but also in making the speaker of the language feel connected in society. So the goal of this discussion is really to share perspectives of adult English language learners, ESOL instructors, and ESOL program managers regarding how English learners can be made to feel at home and part of a community within the ESOL classroom, so that they in turn will feel more confident in using English to make connections with other people, one, whether it be connections to access needed services or social connections with their neighbors, and two, communicating what they want to express. And I thought this was great because, of course, McHale's new tagline that we adopted in February is Coalition for a Connected Community. And just before we get to our discussion, also, I wanted to make a note that our focus here is on adult learners who come with their lived experience and their own personal goals, and to say that best practices among adult ESOL educators are to recognize these and be supportive of them. And we'll really talk about why we want to make people feel at home in the classroom and what the connection is with learning. And you'll hear more about this through our discussion, but evidence shows that creating a nurturing environment in the classroom leads to greater confidence in learners. They're more likely to stay in class, and then they'll have greater learning gains. So we're going to start today with hearing the experiences from our learners. I'm going to ask a series of questions of them. First of all, I'd like to ask each of the learners to say a little bit about themselves, whatever you would like to say about yourself, maybe in 30 seconds. So we'll start with Junko.
Yes, I'm Junko Miyoshi, and I am from Japan. And I'm here because of my husband's job. And I have lived in the US for almost 2 years with my 3 kids. And I enjoy running English now in Family Discovery Center. It's our ESOL class with child development program, and I'm very happy to learn in this facility.
Great, welcome. Esther? I'm sorry, Esther, you're muted still. There we are.
Okay. Buenas tardes, muchas gracias por invitarme. Voy a hablar en español para sentirme más cómoda. Mi nombre es Esther Calix. Soy del Salvador. Vivo en la ciudad de Silver Spring. Estudio actualmente en las clases de inglés en el programa de ESOL de casa. Y that's it.
I'll translate for Esther. So she said, hi, my name is Esther Calix, and I live in Silver Spring. I am from El Salvador, and I am taking English at Casa de Maryland, or Casa.
Thank you. Alberto?
Hi, everyone. My name is Alberto Núñez del Prado. I am married. I have 48 years old. I'm from Peru. I have 2 daughters. Her name is Luana and Micaela. She's studying English too in the United States. I have 1 son. His name is Fabricio. He's work in the he's work in Denver. I have been studying English in this program about 8 months ago, approximately. And I was strained when I first walked into the classroom because I saw a new people. It's very exciting for me.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Cathy next, if she can say a few words about herself. Yes.
My name is Cathy Chen.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well. Can you turn up your volume?
Huh?
Try speaking again.
My name is,
Thank you.
is Cathy Chen.
Yes.
I'm from the ESOL class of CCECC. My English is very poor. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Thank you very much for joining us today. Melanie, would you like to say a few words about yourself? I'm sorry, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Okay. My name is Melanie. I came from China, I think a long time ago. But when I'm come here, so I'm working, so no time to study. Last year, so I go to CCACC and go to ESOL. Yes, ESOL. I'm a grade 2. I meet a very, very good teacher. My teacher is Liu, Miss Liu. She's very good, very good. So after I learn English, so I can write and I can my listening and speaking or hard. So I'm very happy go to ESL, and
Right.
I'm very, very happy when COVID-19, so we all stay at home, but we can learn English continue. So this is so I'm very happy. I thank you all teachers, thank you your. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Thank you. And Tandar.
Yes, my name is Tanda Nai, and I'm from Myanmar, and I have been here for almost 5 years, and I'm taking ESOL class in Montgomery College online class, and I have 2 class, ESOL class, and another one is Anna Bristol Foundation, in ESOL class, advanced ESOL class, and then another class is Seneca Creek Church ESOL class. So I'm taking 3 ESOL class, and I'm working with Maryland Family Network as room host for in virtual parent cafe. So, and I'm last year I finished ESOL class in Family Discovery Center.
Great.
So I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Continuing on with our questions, I wanted to start with Junko. If you could just tell us how long you've studied English, and do you remember what it was like when you first stepped into an ESOL classroom? What did it feel like? Or what were you feeling?
Okay. When I lived in Japan, I started learning English when I was 12 years old, but Japanese English education focused on grammar, so I was not very good at speaking. And this February, I started learning English in Family Discovery Center, and all the staff members were very welcoming and very caring. So I didn't feel ashamed when I made mistakes on speaking English.
That's great. Esther, would you mind telling us how long you've studied English for?
I am studying English has been to 1.5 years ago. Yes.
And what was it like when you first stepped into an ESOL classroom?
Sorry, what is the question?
Sorry, what was it like when you first started studying English here?
I am speak Spanish, please.
That's okay.
Cuando yo empecé a estudiar inglés en el programa de ESOL, pues alguien me dio ¿cómo se llama? Un flyer y me dijo de que me fuera a inscribir que estaban impartiendo clases. Yo fui, cuando vi el salón de clase, vi que eran personas igual que mí que estaban necesitadas de recibir las clases.
I'll translate. So she said, I was approached by someone, they gave me a flyer and they told me to go and register for English classes. And so when I went to the classroom, there were people that looked like me, and we were all in need of acquiring those English language skills.
Great, thank you. Alberto, yes, Alberto?
Yes.
Sorry, how long have you studied English for? I think you may have told us already.
I found out from my friend that he knew about the program. I have been studying English in this program about 8 months approximately.
That's right.
See, 8 months, February to September. No?
Do you remember how it felt when you went into the classroom for the first time?
Yes, I feel very strange. Is when I first walked into the classroom, because it's so new people for me, the different countries. It's was very exciting go in the class.
Uh-huh. Great. Thank you. I wanted to ask the next question of Cathy to start with. What was your main reason for taking classes? And maybe you could tell us a success you've had. Yes, I think we can hear you now. Shall I repeat the question? What was your main reason for taking classes?
Melanie， 他是跟我那个，我听
他是问你的原因，你为什么选择去学习这个英文的原因？它是不是能够让你更快的成功？你就说你就是因为你的英文不好，所以你才要去学习就可以了。
我说是，
你说中文好了，我来帮你翻译。
Thank you.
学习英文的原因呀。
对，为什么去学习原因？你也可以说你为了帮助你的孩子更好的进步啊之类的。
那个因为要在美国生存嘛。
好，我就给你翻译这句话。
生活，
好，I can transfer for her. So she's my classmate. So she say just for life in America.
For daily living.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And what about you, Melanie?
So I was a pediatrician in China. So almost 20 years ago, so I come here. So my first job is cashier in supermarket. So so I always working. So no time to study. So I will make money. And now, so I own 3 spa. So so because COVID-19, so we stop. And last fall in September, so I learned, I study English, come to CCACC for level 2. And after I learn English, so I think my English speaker writing, everything is good, more better for me. So I'm happy.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you. And Pandar, what was your main reason for learning English?
Yes, and I don't want to be a worker in here, so I want to. I got a postgraduate degree in my country, but I'm not good at English. So in here, I'm not. I can't keep my according to my bachelor degree. So I want to get some degree that I'm interested free. So I'm trying for this reason.
Great, thank you. So I want to ask all the learners one final question, which is what kinds of things help you to learn when you're in the classroom and to meet your goals? And we'll start again with Junko.
Something help me.
What kinds of things, for instance, did when you were in the classroom, were there things that your instructors did that was helpful in your learning and meeting your goals?
I'm learning in Family Discovery Center, and our teacher always praise us and encourage us, and those whole words always help me to learn more. Yeah, and very welcoming and kind atmosphere help me learn more.
Okay, great. And if I can ask the same question for Esther.
Yeah. Okay. What is the question? Sorry.
What kinds of things did your teachers or do your teachers do in class that help you learn?
Yeah, my teacher helped me in class. We had practice. We speaking with other classmates. We listening in my lesson every day. She made a small group for joining conversation, and that's it.
Great, thank you. Alberto?
Well, I think the truth generated by the teacher and the excellent academic environment leader in the classroom or through the virtual platform. For me, it's not different when one is willing to learn. It's more important.
Okay, thank you. And then if I could ask Cathy, what sort of things have been helpful for your teacher to do in class that help you learn?
他问你老师有什么办法来帮助你那个去读书去提高？
用什么方法？听说读写都有一些，听说读写都做了一些，只是我学的不够好。
She say, teacher give a lot of training and for speaking, listening, and writing, but she say she's poor English, so she study not very good.
And Melanie, did you have a response you wanted to make to that question?
Okay, so my teacher helped us a lot. So she used Kahoot and chat and ask us to wrote an email, and all classmates do communication. I think this is very helpful us.
Okay. Thank you. And Tandar?
Yes, I was in ESOL class in Montgomery College ESOL class. So my first time in classroom, teachers pick up one book to make a PowerPoint and discussion. So that is a big challenge for me because it's the whole story make summarized, but it is difficult for me because every character and all the whole story to summarize. So this is I learn more and more and to make a PowerPoint for summarize the story. And then I was in Family Discovery Center. Our teacher every week give the homework for the articles. They make questions and they give the questions and make an essay for our own work. So that's why I'm trying to understand more and more. This is things is more helpful for me. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And thank you to all the learners for sharing something about their experiences in learning English. I think, at least for myself, I feel like I don't hear the learner experiences enough directly, so it's wonderful to hear directly from you. Thank you. We'll now turn to our instructors, and I'd like to start off with Lillian, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about what the benefits are of that you see in creating a sense of community in the classroom, and what are some of the things you do to make people feel comfortable?
Hi. Some of the things that I do to help my students feel comfortable is a lot of things that you as the learners have mentioned. So what I'll do is I'll have the students explain, do you have any siblings? Siblings as well. And yeah, those are a few of the things, try to find some common ground, right? Some things that we all have in common as students, as people. What type of foods do they like? What are they learning in school? If they have any kids, a lot of them like telling me about their children.
Great. If I may ask the same question of Sylvia, and what benefits you see of creating community in the classroom?
Hello, everyone. So there are a lot of benefits to creating a sense of community in the classroom. And I'm really big on this one because it really allows students to feel more comfortable. If you make it feel like a family, you make it feel like this is a special place where I can make mistakes, where I can mispronounce something, where I can stop class and say, wait, hold on, time out. Someone said this at work. And what does this mean? Or what does this word mean? So if you build that sense of community, that openness and that welcomeness, then they feel like I can go to you as someone who can indirectly advocate for me and as well as educate me. So that's a big benefit, and the fact that they're going to be more engaged and willing to participate and share if you build this sense of community, either through the beginning from icebreakers to team builders to breakout rooms, speaking virtually obviously, and giving them a place where everyone is kind of learning by audio, by visual, by with kinesthetic learning as well. Sorry, my son has a toy and it says kinetic sand. So, and so it just helps them kind of tap into the learning and feel comfortable saying, okay, I can learn in these ways, because it just really makes them feel like, okay, there's a routine or there's something for everybody. So that's a big thing about creating community and just ultimately making them feel like they have allies, like whether it's their friends or their teachers, and giving them those resources. So it's really a community effort to help them through their journey.
Great, thank you. And do you want to just give a couple of examples of things you do in the classroom to make people feel comfortable?
Well, I hope they feel comfortable. I have actually one of my students there, so he can corroborate or not. But I do include a lot of visuals. I include art because I know I had students who were big on drawing, on art. So making assignments where it taps into into entertainment. So whether it's watching the news or watching Netflix, a lot of them would say, oh, we're watching Netflix, especially during quarantine. So, okay, well, here's an assignment. Watch this show or watch any of these shows that are appropriate in English. Don't put it in Spanish subtitles. Don't put it in French subtitles. Just listen to it. Or on their phones, hey, your assignment is to change your settings to English. So try to navigate through your phone through English. Same thing with your GPS. Do it in English. So that's kind of something that I do where they feel like it's something they can do and they can control and feel like, okay, I got this. And it's also tapping into what they like, their interests, just like Dr. Smith, right, was talking about, with tapping into who they are, like asking them about their day and what do they like and their children. And I give them information about MCPS because I am a teacher as well. So then it makes them feel like, oh, okay, I could talk to her about, my child.
Great, thank you. Jennifer, would you like to add any thoughts to that? The benefits you see, or tips that you have, things that you do?
Sure. So we're a small language school and our classes are not very large, but even within our small classes, we sometimes have 6 different countries represented and 6 different native languages. And like some of the other instructors and students said, finding things in common is really important. And we always find things in common to talk about, but we also really celebrate difference. And I think that really helps in terms of everyone wanting to appreciate and learn from each other. People have different strengths, even if they're all in the same kind of intermediate class. You might have one student who doesn't speak with really good pronunciation, and another student who has excellent pronunciation, but whose grammar isn't really so strong. And when they want to understand each other and learn about something that their classmate brings, they really want to know, they'll listen and they'll appreciate just being able to use that language for communication. And not necessarily getting bogged down on if it's said perfectly or, and they appreciate, hey, we're all doing the best we can, using the strengths we have to learn about the places that we come from and the things that we have in common.
Great, thanks. So obviously when you're finding things in common with your fellow students, and that helps build those connections that are so important within the classroom. What do you do to try to help learners build their confidence? Lillian?
What I like to do is a type of active learning. So oftentimes I will be the learner and the student will be the instructor. So I'll put the control or the opportunity for them to ask me questions. So they're the one who has to initiate that engagement. So I'll have them ask, for example, where am I from? They'll have to ask those questions. Who, what, when, where, why. Like we'll try to focus on that as far as grammar is concerned. And then kind of help them see areas. So by having this for a week, whether it's me and a group of students, normally it's a one-on-one setting, that gives that student the opportunity to build their confidence and understand that it's okay if you have to take some time to develop a question. It does take time, and that's why you're here in this classroom, in this safe space to learn.
Good. Sylvia, how do you try to help learners build their confidence?
From the beginning, I tell them that, like I was mentioning before, it's okay to make mistakes, and I reiterate that every single time, and that I do want you all to have your cameras on as much as you can, just because if they are looking at each other and they're seeing the productive struggle from each other, then that makes them feel like they're connected and they're in this together. I show them when I make mistakes as well, whether it's like on my PowerPoint presentation, I misspelled something or I mispronounced something. I tell them it's natural. Like even somebody who is a native born speaker, like I make mistakes all the time, as well as I show them the different accents of different regions as well, saying, hey, accents are okay, accents are cool, you do not need to lose your accent. So that helps them build the confidence because it makes them feel like, okay, everyone speaks English in their own way. So that's one thing. And I'm going to stop now because my son is right there asking
Okay.
me for help.
Thank you. And Jennifer, I wondered if I know that we all know we're all teaching virtually now, and we've had to adjust for that. How have you adjusted your work in this regard in the virtual classroom?
Well, some things are, a lot is very different, obviously, but a lot is the same in terms of we still try to make our instruction really personal and start classes by having people talk about how things are going and you know, not just diving into our academic lessons, but really taking the time for everybody to share something that's going on. And as one of the instructors mentioned, you know, talking about having a place where you can say, hey, this happened to me this week. I was on the phone and I was trying to place an order and this is what happened, and just talking that through. And so it's worth the time. We do take the time for that. And then, you know, the lessons are a little bit different, but it's amazing how you just kind of get used to this new normal. Instead of writing on the whiteboard in the classroom, we're writing on the whiteboard on Zoom. And instead of passing out papers, we're sharing something on the screen. So we're making it work.
Definitely. Lillian, did you have something to add to that in terms of how you've adjusted for the virtual classroom?
Yes, I can add. One of the things that I decided to do with my students is encourage them to use the internet, such as Google. So instead of, I've taken textbooks and scanned them and then I'll put them in Google Docs. Well, in addition to doing that, there are a lot of wonderful websites out there that allow the students to take like active exams. So we'll focus on prepositions, for example, or focus on adverbs or adjectives. And I'll go to these websites that help them put that into practice so they can see a different perspective of how these words can be used. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, some of the websites I'll find, they're like from Europe, so British system of English. So it's really interesting and funny for them to see, like, oh, look how they spell program in addition to how we spell it here in the US. They use 2 M's and we'll use 1 M. So it just opens their eyes so they can see other avenues. Today, for example, in a class, we were learning about continents and plates and the crust of the earth. And so I just went on the internet and I said, hey, here's an example of what happens back in prehistoric times of how the continents used to look, or what are we looking at the Earth's crust? What does that look like? And what does it look like inside? To be creative, I said, do you guys watch Marvel movies, such as the ones with the superheroes? And they talk about minerals that they procure from the earth. Well, this would be an example of where they would get those minerals from. So just opening their eyes so that they can see different ways, especially visual, because I'm a visual learner as well. It's really encouraged me to use the internet so that I can help my students better understand and grasp terms.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Great. Sylvia, did you want to add something to this, how you've adjusted or what you've found effective to use on the online classroom?
I've told him from the get-go, hey, my kiddo is here, my 3-year-old is here, and he's gonna interrupt like so many times, and I apologize for that. And I'm very honest with them, and they see like, okay, I'm struggling too, they're struggling too, so I adjusted it that way, where we talk about, okay, what just happened, what happened today, and what was like terrible about it or what was good about it. So give them that opportunity to kind of talk, and let out any steam or any questions. I also, we play games is another thing I wanted to add. We play a lot of games, whether I create the games or I find games through like Kahoot or quizzes, for example. And I do like to establish routine, and even within a virtual setting, it is still possible to establish a routine where we have, hello, how are you? Let's talk about our day, and then a warm up, and then like a homework review, and then we get into the action lesson, for example. And I try to even do that, like a specific routine for Tuesdays and a specific routine for Thursdays. And I also incorporate, like if we were doing a job unit, I actually share, we share our screens, obviously, and show them how to apply for a job online. What does this mean? So incorporate the real world into the classroom in this setting, as opposed to like how normally you would print it out and then you would give everybody that. So it's really nice that we could do it online, and I've taught them how to do, like, for some of them, how to create their own email addresses, how to write a proper email address in English, because they would know how to do it in their own native language, but then how do you transfer that into English? So a lot of those work and interpersonal skills is something that we work on for every specific unit. If it's for like present tense, for clothing, colors, whatever, I always apply it to a real world and how I show it through like technology as well. And I incorporate a lot of sites, so they learn how to navigate different sites and go here and go there.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, thank you to our instructors for their perspectives. I wanted to ask Jennifer to say a few words about the event coming up on Thursday that will kind of build upon our discussion today.
Sure. So on Thursday at noon, English Now through our Zoom through our Zoom account, we'll be hosting a professional development workshop at noon. And really it will be a discussion where we can share ideas about how we put this into practice, how we create a welcoming atmosphere, specifically in this online world that we're in.
Great, thank you. So last but not least, we would like to hear from our program managers who are present. While the instructors have an important job, the program managers, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And our program managers are the ones that, are making sure that the learners know where the classes are, that the orientation is set, that keeping track of attendance, all sorts of things. There are a number of things that programs can do to support a welcoming environment actually in the classroom too. So I wanted to start with Ioana, who, as I mentioned before, actually is an English learner, but also has worked with English Now in helping to develop ways to welcome learners. Mm-hmm. Would you mind talking about what your program has done?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. I would talk about the online aspect, which is our reality right now in terms of like welcoming students and current students and new students. For the current students, we try to simply be reachable, be open, be available via phone, via text, via email, via every kind of way. I would also sometimes call students to check in and see that everything is going well. We always try to accommodate them, whatever needs they had. Perhaps if a class time was not working, or schedules changed throughout the pandemic, so we had to be flexible, and we're flexible in order to make them feel welcome and to make this reality normal for them, because it's very challenging. In terms of in person, we always had some activities. We were all together, we had a break around the classes, and we gathered all together and we had some activities related to learning one another. They were talking with one another from different classes. We tried to break people in groups and make them, you know, get out of their comfort zone a little bit and talk with one another, introduce themselves. And they always knew that whoever was in the front desk as a student services manager was always available to them. I would always check in. I would try to build also a personal contact with the students. I think that's very important when you try to build a community. Feeling comfortable to talk to the instructors and of course the student services manager. So I think those were the ways that we tried to create a welcoming environment.
That's wonderful, thank you. And if I can call upon Laura, if you want to first say a few words, if you want, about the benefits that you've seen to creating community, and then some of the things your program has done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. One of the things that we've done to create community, and this was before when we were doing in-person classes, I would really encourage my instructors, and really the instructors play a key role in building community. But my encouragement was to make sure that they connected the students to one another. Back when we were going to classes in person, my goal was to make sure that everybody knew what everybody's situation was, so that they could carpool, so that they could make sure that everybody got to class, make sure that they knew where people lived, so that in case somebody wanted a ride to class, or in case somebody needed to go back home in the evening and they didn't feel comfortable riding on the metro or taking one of the buses, that they could go ahead and do that. So people would say, it's like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't make it to class because I couldn't get a ride. I was like, okay, next time you go to class, you're gonna make sure that you talk to your teacher and talk to your classmates and figure out who can give you a ride to class. Now we fast forward to our online community, and I encourage people to do the same thing, but when it comes to reaching out to each other on how to do things online, and really encourage them to say, if you can't do it online, if you don't have a video capability, talk to your classmates on how to do it by listening in. Talk to your classmates about how to get connected on the phone, so you can at least listen to the conversation. And then let's talk to the teachers about recording the class, so you can then get a video recording of what it is that is happening. So those kinds of details we do to make sure that the students are comfortable. When I heard Ileana talking about the level of the students, when I started the program many years ago, one of the things that I created was what they call in colleges the dropout period, where I gave students a period where they could test out whether that class was really accurate for their level based on their testing. And I told them to please give it a chance, but if the class was either too high or too low for their own learning activities, to let me know, and we would adjust their learning level. So that was one thing that we were able to do to make them feel more comfortable, and that they didn't have to stick to one class just because that's where they had tested. We gave them the autonomy to share what it is that they wanted to do. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your ideas about connecting community, creating community in the classroom. We did just have a few minutes left, and I wondered if there were any questions from the audience, or if somebody wanted to share something that they have done in their program for those of you who are ESOL educators.
I do want to say that word of mouth is what works best for us. And I do encourage every learner that comes to us to say, if you have a friend, please make sure you tell them. And I will also tell you that this community of MKL has been fabulous, because when it doesn't work out for a person to participate with us, I know that I am able to send them to the rest of you out there. So thank you for sharing some of your ideas tonight, because it continues to encourage me to connect my learners to you, and I hope that you also get to connect your learners to us.
Rudy?
Yes.
This is Andy Lawrence. I'd like to put Stacy Fannin on the spot. Just her eyes just went up. But if she could describe what she does at break time, I think that that is a very good community building tool that she's employed quite successfully.
So this was before the quarantine, but we had I think 10 or 11 classes, and we met for an hour, and then we had break time, and we provided coffee and tea and snacks, and invited the students to bring snacks as well. And then they would mingle with the other students in the other classes. And then we would also have like themed parties, like a Valentine's Day party break, and a St. Patrick's Day break, and a Halloween costume party. So we haven't done anything like that now since we're in quarantine. So I need to get creative and ask my instructors to get creative. Maybe celebrate a birthday party online, you know, with their class, or maybe do a social instead of just learning all the time, just like have a glass of wine and cheese. So thank you for reminding me, Andy. I do miss those gatherings. Thank you.
Has anyone tried to do informal Zoom gatherings for learners? Oh. Cathy? Oh, sorry. I thought, Cathy, you had your hand up. Okay. All right. And would anybody else like to share? We have another minute or so.
Well, oops, I have to unmute myself, right?
Hi. Oh, now you're muted.
Okay, now I'm okay. Well, at English Now, we've instituted a happy hour on Friday. It was very well attended at the beginning by both students and teachers, and then it was sort of tapering off. So we're starting to think maybe we should have it every other Friday or once every 3 weeks. But the point is to, you know, get our the staff as well as the students together. We have a drink in our hands, and, you know, just kind of informally talking together in a happy atmosphere.
Sounds good. Okay, well, Jennifer?
Oh, sorry, I was just going to add to that, but we've also tried to extend our potluck lunches that we used to do in person, and we used to have those every month. We've had some virtual potlucks where people have brought their lunch or dinner and explained what they're having and maybe how to make it. So that's been fun too.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And we also have had some, we used to have outings every Friday, and now we have virtual outings, and we've had some wonderful sessions. This past Friday, one of our former students in northern Italy gave us a tour of her dairy cow farm and showed us the robots and the cows and everything. It was fascinating. And the week before that, we had a thing on the Bilbao Museum in Spain, and we had something on Ellis Island, and some of these sessions have been very well attended by students.
But those sound great. I would have loved to have seen the cows. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
It just occurs to me, I know someone had their hand up saying they had done some other things. I think that's what I was trying to call attention to when Rudy tried to call on me, but it just occurs to me, you know, feel free if you want to share, put these ideas in the Google group that we have so others can benefit from them. And if you're looking for ideas, go search the Google group and that kind of thing. Because, man, you all are really creative. And I know that there's so much that goes into a class that's not just about what's the lesson you're going to teach. It's about creating community. So I know you're busy. So the more we can share ideas, the less you have to invent the wheels on your own, and you can benefit from all the depth and breadth of knowledge we have throughout the coalition with instructors and program managers. So it's been lovely to hear all your stories. I just want to thank everyone for their contributions. We obviously can keep going, but it's just been really inspirational.
I agree. It's been wonderful to hear all of your perspectives, and thank you not only to the guest speakers, but for all of those who helped organize this. It's been wonderful to see all of you. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Keep up all the good
And
work.
happy welcoming week.
Yes.
Bye.
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 Hi, Norma. I'm sorry we weren't able to include you in with the learners. I'm sorry, you're muted, your microphone.
Sorry, my apologize to get late. I just came from work. And it was hard to coming early, but I'm a student. So, but thank you anyway.
Well, maybe there will be another opportunity to involve you in a McHale event or something.
Yeah, next time.
Yes, thank you for joining us, even though it was late.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Lillian.
Let me take myself off mute. This was wonderful. I got some excellent ideas. It's good to see you again, Monica.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna implement a lot of the things
so
Sylvia had mentioned, which were really good.
I know.
Sorry, you can speak.
No, well, you were on here like since it's like the 5 of us. But what did you think? How do you think it went?
Oh, this was wonderful. I enjoyed the way that you all did it, how you let everyone in afterwards. That was really good. And then that it wasn't open, so you were able to monitor who was coming in and out of the room, which was also good. And the learners were wonderful. They all had different languages, which was awesome. They came from different backgrounds. That was so cool. I enjoyed seeing that part.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I'm glad we did this.
Yeah,
yes, I am too.
So
I'm done.
Later.
See you guys later.
I'll give you a call on Teams. Oh, there. I was hoping Cathy would come back.
Let me invite her. Let me
stop the recording.
Oh yeah, it is. Sorry.
It's okay.